The eternal question, why do bad things happen to good people, always touches the human heart deeply. When we see a kind and gentle person facing illness or misfortune, our hearts cry out, "Why them?" That question is not only a personal pain, but also a universal human inquiry. It transcends religion, culture, and time. It seems that all of us, at some point, have questioned life in that way, with confusion, helplessness, and a broken heart when witnessing a good person suffering. From the light of Buddhism, suffering is not a punishment, nor is it an unfair fate assigned to one over another. The Buddha taught that the nature of life is dukkha, suffering, which means imperfection, incompleteness. Life does not operate according to our desires or moral standards. It flows through causes and conditions, through karma, impartial, and beyond our definitions of good and bad. Therefore, when a good person suffers, it is not because they did something wrong, but because they too are living in a world shaped by impermanence, karma, and dependent origination. We suffer because we believe life should be fair, that the good should be happy, and the bad should suffer consequences. But it is precisely this belief that leaves us disoriented and in pain when life takes an unexpected turn. Reality does not cater to our expectations. It unfolds by its own laws. When we expect perfect justice in a world of impermanence, we will forever suffer from things beyond our control. Buddhism does not teach us to escape suffering, but invites us to face it directly.
Suffering is a part of human life, like the shadow, inseparable from the body. Yet the miracle is, once we understand suffering, we can learn how to transform it. Good people are not exempt from pain, but through those trials, they have the opportunity to grow, to cultivate compassion, and to live more deeply. There are those who, after illness or loss, shine even brighter, like a lamp in the darkness, offering light and hope to others. Instead of asking, "Why them?" we might gently turn inward and ask, "What can I do for them in this moment?" That question no longer reaches outward in protest, but inward in compassion, awakening mindfulness and gratitude for the fragility of life itself. The truth is, good people will suffer, and bad people will sometimes find joy. But that is not injustice, it is impermanence. Seen through wisdom, suffering is not something to avoid, but an essential part of the path to awakening. And within that suffering, the good can still keep their kind hearts, still live with openness like a lotus blooming with fragrance in the mud. With this deep understanding, we no longer see life as unjust, but as a flowing stream full of opportunities to awaken. Bad things do not happen to punish us, but to remind us to return, to live truthfully, to love fully, and to know that only compassion and wisdom will carry us through all things. Life is inherently imperfect, and it is this very imperfection that forms the deep root of suffering. The Buddha taught that the nature of life is dukkha. Dukkha is not just pain, but incompleteness, instability, and lack of solidity. No matter how hard we try, we cannot hold on to anything forever. Life is always changing. Each moment passes, and everything arises and fades. Happiness, joy, and success are fragile. They are like morning dew, like a breeze, present for a moment, then gone. No matter who we are, how well we live, we cannot escape nature's law. Birth, growth, aging, illness, and death. No one can avoid this cycle. Whether rich or poor, kind or cruel, all are subject to the same flow. Suffering does not come because we are wrong. It is not punishment. It is simply a natural part of being alive. What deepens human pain is not only what happens, it is the belief that life must be fair. We think good people should be happy. Bad people should face consequences. We hold on to an ideal version of life. But life does not operate by our moral standards. The Buddha once said, "The world is somewhat unfair." Not to make us bitter, but to help us see the real cause of suffering, that it is our expectations that lead to disappointment and pain. When we expect life to match our idea of fairness, even a small disruption shakes us. We see a kind person fall seriously ill. We see someone selfish live in luxury, and we start to doubt karma. But karma does not ripen immediately. Fruits do not appear right after seeds are sown. Some results take time. Some lack the right conditions. If we understand this, we will judge life less harshly. The greatest suffering does not come from events themselves, but from a mind that refuses to accept them. When we think something shouldn't happen, we resist, we blame, and we suffer more. Reality itself is not the problem. Our distorted view of it is. A wise person is not someone who no longer feels pain, but someone who does not let pain disturb their heart. They still see injustice, but they do not resent it. They still face impermanence, but do not rebel within, because they know this is how life is. And resisting truth only deepens unrest. Only when we release expectations can we truly touch peace. Not because life suddenly becomes better, but because we stop imposing. When we see life as it is, suffering feels lighter. Everything comes and goes by its own causes and conditions, not by our preferences. Instead of asking why bad things happen to good people, we might turn inward and ask how to keep a kind heart even when life feels unfair. Because the only thing we can truly control is our own mind. Life will still flow in its own way. The answer doesn't lie in explaining every pain. It lies in how we move through pain, with understanding, with compassion, with letting go. When we stop trying to bend life to our desires, we begin to live truthfully, with ourselves, and with what is.
When we suffer, many of us feel as though we are being punished. We wonder why life is being unfair, especially when we have lived with kindness and integrity. But even those who live virtuously still face illness, loss, and hardship. In those moments, the question returns, why do bad things happen to good people? Does karma not work? Is goodness meaningless? In the light of the Dharma, the Buddha offered a different view. He did not promise that the good will always be happy, nor that the wicked will suffer instantly. Instead, he taught that everything in life arises from causes and conditions. Nothing happens without a reason, but those reasons are not always found in the present. Many believe karma is a form of punishment, but in truth, karma is not reward or retribution. It is not a divine judgment. Karma is simply the unfolding of intention. The Buddha taught that the heart of karma is cetana, volition. What we intend, not just what we do, is what shapes our future. When we form an intention, karma begins, even if no action follows. A thought of greed, a word of hatred, a deed of anger, all leave impressions on our mind and shape the path ahead. But likewise, a kind intention, a gentle act, an honest word, these are seeds of long-term happiness. Since karma accumulates over countless lifetimes and interacts with endless conditions, its results do not always appear immediately. A person who has done harm may still seem at peace today. Another who lives virtuously may still face hardship. This does not mean karma is broken. It only means the fruit has not yet ripened. A kind person may be bearing the fruit of past karma or affected by collective karma, the shared karma of their community, family, or society. They are also influenced by environment, genetics, economy, and countless other unseen threads. Karma does not move in straight lines.
It is a vast network of interwoven causes. Yet, this does not make goodness meaningless. Every wholesome thought, every act of kindness, every mindful choice is a precious seed planted in the soil of life. It may not bloom today, but one day, when the conditions are right, it will flower. More than that, in the very moment we act with compassion, we already taste peace. We know we are not being led by hatred. We are not acting from greed. We are not causing harm from anger. Simply to keep a kind heart is already its own reward. Good karma is not a transaction. It is a way of living, day by day, regardless of what life brings. When we live with mindfulness and love, we are walking the path of liberation. Not to avoid suffering, but to understand it. Not to control fate, but to release the chains that bind us. We may not control what happens to us, but we can choose how we respond. That is true freedom. When we understand that karma lies in intention, we begin to pay closer attention to every movement of the mind. We no longer dismiss small thoughts, knowing they all leave a mark. We begin to live more deeply, more awake, more gently, not to demand a better life, but because it is the right way to live. The kind-hearted are not immune to pain, but they can walk through suffering without closing their hearts.
They know that within the vast web of karma and conditions, the only true control they have is over their own mind. And when the mind is steady, compassionate, and free, even in an imperfect world, they can still live each breath with wholeness.
In life, we inevitably face difficulties. There are times we feel helpless, exhausted, even lost when things turn out far from what we had hoped. However, to walk through suffering with steadiness, we must first learn one crucial thing: to clearly distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. This is the beginning of wisdom. If we fail to make this distinction, we will keep spinning in the cycle of blame and disappointment. We will try to change what cannot be changed and ignore what we truly can transform. Our energy becomes scattered, our mind depleted, and suffering repeats itself endlessly. Situations within our control are those that arise from ourselves. They may include mistakes in our behavior, a lack of mindfulness in our speech, moments of anger, stubbornness, or unwholesome habits formed over time. When painful consequences arise from these, we should not blame others or external circumstances. Instead, we should look inward. The Buddha once said that no one can save us except ourselves. If we are wrong, we can correct it. If we are ignorant, we can learn. If we are weak, we can train the mind. Everything that begins with us can be transformed. This is the greatest foundation for awakening. But not all suffering comes from our faults. Some situations are entirely beyond our control. These include when others misunderstand us, act with ill will, or when society operates under systems we cannot change. They include being betrayed, misjudged, or facing injustices we did not create. These cannot be altered simply through willpower. If we persist in trying to change what is beyond our reach, we will grow tired and disheartened. The more we force things, the more we suffer. The more we expect others to change, the more we feel disappointed. But if we learn to let go, to accept our limitations, we can preserve our inner peace. Acceptance does not mean surrender, nor does it mean condoning injustice. It is the clear understanding that some things cannot be forced. Just as a river cannot bend simply because we want it to, life has its own flow. What we can do is adjust our minds, not the entire world. Once we clearly recognize these two kinds of situations, we begin to live more lightly. We respond with honesty when we are at fault. We accept with dignity what lies beyond our doing. And from this, we maintain calmness amid chaos. There are many things in life we cannot control, but there is still so much we can do. We can learn to be more compassionate, more patient, less reactive. We can train the mind to stay awake, not be swept away by emotions. We can speak gently, even in the face of injustice. This is the strength of inner freedom, not the power to control the world, but to govern ourselves. Not to change every situation, but to change how we receive it. When the mind does not sway with outer storms, suffering no longer binds us.
And eventually, we come to see something deeply true. Life does not need to be perfect for us to find peace. We only need to see clearly, to let go of what cannot be held, to care for what can be transformed. That alone is already a great liberation.
When facing a situation beyond our control, the only thing left in our hands is how we respond. We cannot change others. We cannot force the world to follow our desires. But we can always change our attitude. That is the greatest freedom anyone has. Attitude is the root of experience. Two people can go through the same event, yet feel entirely different. One with an open view walks through it lightly. One with attachment and expectation carries a heavy burden. It's not the situation that differs, it's the heart. The Buddha once shared a beautiful image. If you drop a handful of salt into a glass of water, the water becomes salty and hard to drink. But if you drop the same salt into a river, the water remains fresh, clear, and drinkable. The salt hasn't changed, the size of the water has. So it is with suffering. When the heart is narrow, even a small hardship can make us bitter. But when the heart is vast, filled with compassion and understanding, even discomfort dissolves into the largest stream of wisdom. We don't need to eliminate the salt, we just need to widen the river. So instead of trying to change others, change your perspective. Cultivate kindness. Keep the mind bright and soft. When we transform the inner world, the outer world appears different. Not because reality has changed, but because our lens has. Some might say this is passivity,
But it is not. It is a conscious choice not to waste energy on what cannot be altered. It is a wise act of recognizing what must be let go and what must be cared for. A positive mind is not fake optimism. It does not deny that life has suffering. Rather, it sees all of life clearly, yet still chooses to stay kind. It is when we are hurt but do not hold hate, when we face injustice but do not react with blame. An open heart is not a sign of weakness, it is strength. The strength not to let others determine how we live. When someone speaks harshly, we don't need to respond with anger. We can choose silence, step back, choose to keep our peace. Changing perspective does not erase pain, but it helps us live with pain more gently. It allows us to continue loving, continue trusting, even after being hurt. It makes us more forgiving, more understanding, more connected to life. True freedom does not come from controlling the world. It comes from understanding ourselves. When we are no longer shaken by what we cannot change, we begin to live authentically. Every experience, sweet or bitter, becomes material to nourish the heart. And in the end, we see that what matters most is not how life treated us, but how we treated ourselves along the way. That is where transformation truly begins. In life, everyone will be struck by an arrow. It is the arrow of real suffering, a harsh criticism, bad news about our health, a loss we cannot hold on to. That first arrow is something no one can avoid. No matter how we live, it will come to us someday. The Buddha called this the first arrow. It represents the undeniable truths. Our body will age. Illness will arrive. Death is certain. Sometimes others will misunderstand us. Sometimes what we love will slip away. These are inseparable parts of human existence. But often, after that first arrow, we shoot a second one into ourselves. This is the second arrow. It is blame. It is anger. It is the thought that loops in our head. Why me? It is the feeling of injustice, sadness, and inner struggle. If the first arrow is unavoidable, the second arrow can be stopped. It does not come from the situation, but from our reaction to it. The Buddha taught that suffering is real, but much of the added suffering is created by our own minds. We cannot stop the rain, but we can choose not to complain about it all day. The difference is this: the first arrow hurts our body, but the second one wounds our heart. And if we are not mindful, we will keep shooting more arrows into ourselves. Only when we pause, breathe, and look at the moment with mindfulness can we avoid being swept away by automatic reaction.
A hurtful word might sting, but if we do not replay it in our minds 100 times, the pain will not last forever. The more we hold on, analyze, and attach our identity to the story, the deeper the wound becomes. Learning to stop at the first arrow is a practice. It is the ability to recognize that the pain is real, but we can embrace it with mindfulness. Instead of reacting unconsciously, we can breathe in and acknowledge, this is sadness. We can breathe out and let go of blame. Not because we force ourselves to be strong, but because anger or blame cannot undo what has already happened. The more we resist, the longer the suffering lasts. But if we simply observe the event as it is, without exaggeration, without adding stories, then the first arrow still hurts, but it passes more quickly. We don't need to pretend that everything is okay. We only need to stop hurting ourselves further with our thoughts. And then, like water flowing by, the emotions will pass. A wound tended to with awareness heals faster than one left alone in anger and fear. Learn to pause and gently tell yourself, one arrow is enough.
One of the greatest causes of suffering is expectation. The more we expect, the more we are disappointed. This is not just a passing feeling, it is a pattern that repeats in human life. We expect others to understand us. We expect the world to treat us fairly. We expect things to go smoothly and for those we love to stay. But the world does not move according to personal desires. Both videos emphasize the same point. We do not suffer only because of what happens, but because we expected it to happen differently. When life does not match our expectations, our mind becomes agitated. When someone does not behave as we hope, we become angry. When a plan fails, we feel sorrow. Yet the Buddha said, in life, the unexpected always happens, and what we expect is easily broken. That statement is a wake-up call. Life is impermanent. Nothing is fixed, and nothing is guaranteed. Someone who loves us today may leave tomorrow. Work that flows well today may encounter obstacles tomorrow. Joy today may turn into sorrow tomorrow. If we cling to expectations, suffering is inevitable. But if we live with an open heart, accepting that all things are subject to change, our burden becomes lighter. We do not lose faith. We do not become pessimistic.
We simply let go of the must be and return to what is. Expectation is a subtle form of control. We want things to happen according to our design. But life is not a script we write. Each day is a surprise. Each person walks their own path. Each moment holds an element we cannot foresee. When we understand this, we learn to relax, not by abandoning responsibility, but by releasing attachment, not by ceasing effort, but by ceasing demands, not by stopping love, but by freeing love from conditions. Reducing expectations does not make us cold. On the contrary, it allows us to love more sincerely. When we stop demanding, we see others as they are, not as we wish them to be. When we release the pressure of outcomes, we live fully in the process. When we stop forcing life to follow our will, we begin to see its natural beauty. Living with fewer expectations is a deep form of peace. The mind is no longer pulled into the future or drowned in regret. It rests in the present, calm enough to receive, steady enough to breathe, clear enough to let go. Life may not be what we imagined, but it is still worth living. People may not be what we want, but they are still worthy of love. And the unexpected, if not clouded by suffering, may sometimes turn out to be life's greatest gift. When we see a kind person suffering, the first thing we should do is awaken compassion. There is no need to explain, no need for many words. Just be there, listen, and support with a truly open heart. Sometimes a look filled with understanding is worth more than 1,000 sentences. A gentle hand on the shoulder, a simple phrase like, "I'm here," can soothe a wound quietly bleeding inside another's heart. Compassion is not pity. It is deep empathy, a connection from one human being to another, not through logic, but through the heart. It is unconditional presence. It is healing energy that requires no force. But when facing suffering, we also need to open the eye of wisdom, to see that everything arises from conditions.
No one is punishing anyone. No one is chosen to bear more than others. Suffering is not some cosmic injustice. It is an inseparable part of this imperfect life. Wisdom helps us avoid blame. It keeps us from falling into the question, why them? Wisdom reminds us that not all good people are lucky. Not all who live kindly are spared from illness or loss. Compassion gives us gentleness. Wisdom gives us steadiness. A person with compassion but lacking wisdom may burn out, taking on everyone's pain without knowing how to transform it. On the other hand, one with wisdom but lacking compassion may grow cold, understanding impermanence but unable to share in another's sorrow. Only when both are present, compassion and wisdom, can we walk steadily through life, able to love without being drowned in pain, able to open our hearts yet still remain calm, able to uplift others while also caring for ourselves. Compassion and wisdom are not opposites. They are like two arms of an awakened being. One holds life gently, the other lights the path ahead. When our heart is soft enough to feel and clear enough to see, even when suffering arises, we do not lose ourselves. Life always brings sorrow, but if we learn to love with understanding and understand with the heart, then we have already found the way forward. Not to escape life, but to live in it, with peace and a full heart.
In life, there are moments that leave us speechless. A kind person is diagnosed with a severe illness. Someone who lives with compassion loses a loved one in heartbreaking circumstances. A child suffers before even learning to speak. These images touch something deep in us. And then, from the depths of our heart, the question arises, why them? It's a deeply human question, a natural reaction when we face what seems like blatant unfairness. It carries both compassion and a silent protest. That question often comes with helplessness, bewilderment, and even anger. It reflects our lingering hope in a world where the good are protected and the bad receive their due. Both videos guide us through this feeling, not by denying it, but by inviting us to transform it. From the painful question, why do bad things happen to good people? We are gently guided to a more freeing question. In this situation, what can I do to ease the suffering, even just a little? This shift is not simple. It asks us to step out of emotional reflex. From the seat of helpless observer, we move into the role of compassionate presence, not to fix everything, but to change how we show up. Why them looks outward. It searches for causes in fate, in karma, in the seeming unfairness of life. But what can I do turns inward. It stirs compassion. It awakens wisdom.
And it gives us back a measure of agency amidst the flow of life. We cannot change it all, but we can do something, however small. A gentle word, a warm embrace, a quiet, steady gaze, a hand held at the right moment. These gestures may not erase pain, but they soften it, make it less lonely, less cold. When we ask, "What can I do?" we begin to connect. No longer separate from the one who suffers, we draw closer, not to solve, but to share. Not to answer every question, but to remind one another we can still care. To change the question is to change the heart, from resistance to acceptance, from confusion to presence, from despair to action. Instead of being caught in thoughts like, why them, why not someone else? Is life even fair? We return to something simpler. Right now, with this heart, what can I do for them or for myself? Acts of love don't need to be grand. They begin with the small, making a cup of tea, sitting in silence, sending a message, holding back judgment. These quiet acts are often the most powerful. And when we ask, "What can I do?" the answer always comes, not from outside, but from within. A soft voice of the heart, a gentle movement from inside. This new question is a door. When opened, it leads to a path of compassionate and wise action, a path that doesn't run from suffering, but learns to walk through it with equanimity. When our question changes, the world also shifts, not because circumstances are different, but because our way of seeing has changed. And when our vision transforms, everything around us becomes lighter, clearer, and warmer.